What's up, everybody? Mike Somich coming at you for RacingDudes.com. Back to preview the Allen Jerkens Handicap Marathon at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, race number 9. It's an interesting one. Before we jump into it, let's talk a little bit about handicap races because I think it's very important. We don't have a ton of them here in the U.S. The weights are determined by the races that you have won, your age, things like that. So in normal races, you're generally going to find a much smaller gap in the weights that each horse will have. You have some exceptions to that, like when you have a bug jockey riding, getting a 5, 7, or 10-pound allowance. But in this race, most stakes races will start out there. You're going to either see even weights at 126, 124, 123, or you're going to see minor adjustments. We're talking 3, 4 pounds here or there because of age or sex. In this spot, we are talking about major differences. Another mystery, the 3-horse is carrying 126 pounds. Your low weight in this race is 114. So you're seeing massive gaps there, and over a 2-mile trip on the turf course, that will definitely make a difference. So it allows horses that may not be as skilled as the favorites, or I should say as the most accomplished horses, to be able to compete with them because of that weight allowance. So that's what we're talking about here with this specific handicap series. Let's now jump into the race. All right, the first horse we're going to look at here is another mystery, carrying the high weight in the race, 126 pounds, breaking from the 3 posts, switching barns here, going out of the Chris Block barn into the James Gulick barn. You got Irad Ortiz Jr., who took them out. It's an interesting spot. Look, another mystery, definitely your most accomplished horse in the field, specifically at marathon distances. Has never gone 2 miles, but has been very successful going that 1.5 mile distance. No knock on another mystery. I definitely should be one of the horses that is in contention and one that people should consider using here. But at 4-1 in this big of a field, going 2 miles, carrying the high weight, it's tough for me to get very excited about the 3-horse, another mystery. Let's talk about your morning line favorite here, the 10-horse, Value Engineering, one of 3 Mike makers in here. We'll mention all of them as we go through this. Value Engineering, switching out of the Chad Brown barn, has had success again at longer distances, has a win at 1.1 miles, has a win at 1.25 miles up in New York. Dropping down a little bit in class from that perspective, coming out of very tough N3X allowance races at Belmont and Saratoga. Those are tough races to run in because of how deep those fields are. Now dropping into this stakes level, which is interesting because a lot of times we wouldn't consider that a drop, but this is definitely a little bit lighter than some of the fields that you've been seeing when racing against Bye Bye Melvin, Soldiers Rising, Atone. Some pretty tough horses. The question here, again, the distance, never gone 2 miles, but only one of these horses has, outside of the jumper on the inside, who's done it a couple times. So Value Engineering is definitely another logical horse in here to play out of the Maker Barn. Also out of the Maker Barn, right inside Canejos, the 9-horse. This is one that's had some success again, going longer distances, and that's why you're seeing him in here. It has one race at 2 miles, did the Belmont Gold Cup, ended up running 4th that day, so has at least tried the distance, picks up Luis Saez. Maker's great at these long distances. This is one of those horses that could be maybe a sneaky speed horse, depending on what happens here. You see very few horses show speed in this race because if you're running shorter distances, they're not necessarily up close. So with this pace setup is going to be one of the keys here. The 7-horse Wicked Fast, also Mike Maker. You get Miguel Vasquez up here carrying one of the low weights, just 115 pounds. 9 and 10 are both carrying 120 in this spot. Wicked Fast had some success in graded stakes, but really been mostly an allowance horse, an overnight stakes horse. But again, you trust Mike Maker, especially when he's got 3 and you're getting a low weight. Miguel Vasquez is a good upset jockey. So the 7, a little bit interesting in that spot to me. Let's talk about the 5-horse, Ready for the Lady. 20-1 on the morning line, carrying 116 pounds. Paco Lopez picks up the mount for Roger Atfield. This is an interesting case here where the horse, it just didn't do much in the 2-year-old season, comes out in the 3-year-old season, runs on synthetic, goes over the grass, goes 1.25 miles on the grass up at Woodbine and gets a nice win, and then jumps all the way up from there into the Grade 3 Sphinxfield race up at Woodbine. That is 1.3 miles and looks phenomenal, winning at a 14-1 price on that day. Beat some pretty good horses in that race too. You've had multiple horses come back and run well out of there. 2 next out winners who finished 5th and 6th in that race, and a couple horses that have had graded stakes success. So it looks pretty good. Then we drop back to synthetic and get 2 no-show efforts. So he's really, how do you kind of play this turf versus synthetic action for the 5-horse? Last one we'll mention before giving out the picks, the 11-horse, Barberini, your low weight here, carrying just 114 pounds, bred to handle every bit of this 2-mile distance. This is a son of Flintshire out of an Empire Maker mare, so definitely has the pedigree Third off the layoff, late in the 3-year-old season, Ruiz follows this horse from the Maryland circuit to come down to Gulfstream and ride for Arnold Delacour. Really interesting horse at a price getting 8-1. My pick on top, I'm going to get a little nutty here. Give me the 5 horse, Ready for the Lady at 22-1 on top. I think the weight advantage here is going to make a difference for Ready for the Lady, carrying just 116. I went back and watched that grade 3 victory. It looked very, very good. I think this kind of fits, especially for a horse that seems to be on the up. I think turf is definitely where this horse wants to be. Distance should not be an issue considering the breeding. So I'll take a swing here with Ready for the Lady on top. And second, I'm going to the 10 horse Value Engineering. I think this is the most talented of the 3 mic makers. I think using the 7, 9, or 10 in multi-race bets is not a bad idea, but I do like Value Engineering the most. Third, I'm going to go with the 11 Barberini here, carrying the low weight at 114, seems to be on the uptick here late in the 3-year-old season, and again, just bred wonderfully for this 2-mile distance. Flintshires are horses that generally are able to go all day, so give me the 11 here in third. I'm going to go again 5, 10, 11 here in the H. Allen Jerkens Marathon Handicap from Gulfstream Park, race number 9 on Saturday's card. Thank you very much for checking out this preview. Make sure you check out all our previews over at racingdudes.com, and make sure you subscribe to YouTube.com/RacingDudes for all of our previews headed up to the Kentucky Derby, and of course for Dudes Who Bet Daily every Wednesday through Sunday, noon Eastern, for our best bets around the sports and horse racing world. We'll see you at the track.
RacingDudes.com is your home for the best free picks for every race, every track across the country. We're ramping up for the 2023 Kentucky Derby, and we want you to join us in the fun. Subscribe to Racing Dudes YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a single video. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.